I value people. I value one of my philosophies is that to be a successful leader, deep inside you must be willing to let the people below you become better than you.
I thought that it would be a hindrance to his development if he were to automatically become my successor. But through my wife, who told me that he had some interest in, I was delighted to learn that he was interested. Although I had misgivings about his being a student of Ateneo, which to this day I abhor because I came from LaSalle.
I was not aware that there was a very strong anti-mining sentiment until I actually joined the company because, my dad is very well known in the industry as having, being one of the pioneers and being one of the, parang symbols of responsible mining. So it never occurred to me where I grew up that there's something wrong with it. So it is a bit of an education for me.
Nagsisi ka ba?
Di naman.
Manny Zamora is a bar top-notcher who was predicted to have a brilliant future in the law profession until he found his true calling. The lawyer turned into a miner and proceeded to build what is now known as the biggest nickel ore producer in the Philippines and one of the biggest in the world. Now on his retirement, Manny has passed on the reins to his equally accomplished son, Dennis, who is poised to bring the company to even greater heights. Meet the father and son tandem behind the giant Nickel Asia Corporation in this Usapang Bilyonaryo exclusive.
So they say you are the youngest CEO in one of the oldest industries in the country. You are?
I'm not sure actually if I am the youngest, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm one of the youngest. Yeah, but I've never verified that.
So you bring a new sense of dynamism, I suppose, into this industry, which is really has taken such a beating from the public, from politicians, from government, environmentalists. How do you confront that?
Well, I think it's good that I'm really not in the mining industry previously. No, I was in the private sector doing banking work, so I've had chance to work internationally and here and get exposed to how it is to work in a business where it's not your family business. No, so I think that helped me develop the discipline to be professional, to really test myself and gain confidence in working in general. No,
Not in the shadow of your father.
not yet. So, and then not being in the mining industry, it's good to have a fresh perspective. Being in an industry that is driven by data and metrics, it helped me develop a style of leading the company that is really based on setting goals, having the right objectives, and of course, having the right people in the company to achieve those objectives. And along the way, I learned a lot. I was not aware that there was a very strong anti-mining sentiment until I actually joined the company because, my dad is very well known in the industry as having, being one of the pioneers and being one of the, parang symbols of responsible mining. So it never occurred to me where I grew up that there's something wrong with it. So it is a bit of an education for me.
Nagsisi ka ba?
Di naman. But
It was a rude awakening.
Yeah, it was. But It's part of the challenge of I think any role you take in a senior level position in a large company, there will be challenges. So I don't think I was scared or I regret it at all. No? And I think it's actually an honor to be in a company which can answer those questions being posed by the doubters, right?
How did it come about?
If I remember correctly, I was working in a bank, and then I worked for a while in energy sector, and then I was about to embark on a new opportunity, and then my dad and one of our shareholders talked to me to join instead. So yeah, I think I had a choice, but I could not pass up the opportunity to get to work with my dad. I think that's what motivated me to see. Parang sayang naman because he is revered and respected.
Why did you opt to make your mark outside first?
I think my dad at the beginning was not sure if he wanted a member of the family to succeed him, and I'm not sure why, but that's what he was sort of telling us, the kids, when we were younger. Maybe it was psychology. It's like a message for us to have to survive and work it out on our own. No? Anyway, whatever it was, maybe you can ask him.
Yeah, I will. I will definitely.
I think it worked out for the better because I really value the opportunity to be tested.
Outside. Without being known as the son of, without the name.
Exactly.
What would you consider as the best lessons or that you're bringing into the business?
I think part of it is humility. That I know that I'm not the smartest person in the room all the time, and there is always something to learn from other people. And so that's one thing, being in the investment banking industry, you are humbled by so many smart people out there. So, and you realize also that to get things done, you need to have people working with you to like you, both above and below you. I value people. I value one of my philosophies is that to be a successful leader, deep inside, you must be willing to let the people below you become better than you. So inside, we should all be developing our replacement, our successors. Because if you don't think that way, you will not have the motivation or the incentive to make people shine.
Your stocks have moved they've been really active, one of the most active stocks because there's a huge demand for nickel. It has risen.
Well, putting it into context, and I hope this does not come out as boasting. When I joined the company, it was in the beginning of COVID. The stock was below 2 pesos. I can't really remember. It's now it reached about 7 pesos a few weeks ago, and it went down a bit. There's so much turmoil now in the markets. It's now at about mid-6 levels. Despite the COVID being a dampener on the market, it led to a rise in ESG. The term is environment, social governance. It was a growing trend to look at climate, etc., as opposed to profit. So I was very fortunate to come into that time when that awareness was growing, and then that led to this sort of a boost in electric vehicles.
Where nickel is a vital component.
Nickel is a vital component in the batteries for electric vehicles. So the effect of COVID is that it accelerated that growth, that ESG mindset. Right now we have about 10 million electric vehicles in the whole world.
The demand will grow.
It's projected to more than double by 2025, and then from 2025, more than double again by 2030.
Did your dad, when you were growing up, did he talk about mining? Did he talk about what he was doing?
The short answer is no. Before I joined the company, none of us have ever visited the mine site.
Was he a very hands-on father?
I would say no. I would say not a very hands-on father. He was a very strategic and big picture. I think what he always told me when I was young is that he always tried to make me feel that we're normal people, that we're not privileged. Number two, that he always valued people, and three, he always says that he appreciates the idea of paying people well, because that's the job of the company, to support people and the communities. So it was really never about profit. At least the conversations we would have at home was not about making money.
But I made this much money.
No, so
it
never occurred to me as a lucrative business.
I'm so happy to hear that this is the first time you're facing the camera.
I recall really that it's my first ever.
What an honor. Thank you. So I will make it worth your while. You must be so proud of your son.
Well, I am, and in fact, it came as a pleasant surprise that he has turned out so well.
What do you mean?
Well, I never envisioned that he would be a successor to to head my company.
The old-fashioned thinking is the legacy you will pass on to your children. You did not think.
No, yes, because I thought that it would be a hindrance to his development if he were to automatically become my successor. But through my wife, who told me that he had some interest I was delighted to learn that he was interested. Although I had misgivings about his being a student of Ateneo, which to this day I abhor, because I came from LaSalle.
Well, he was in LaSalle also naman.
Oh yeah, he studied in LaSalle Green Hills.
I'm sure you see already a lot of innovations that he's put in as CEO.
Well, yes, except that I don't understand most of it, because he has 2 MBAs. And I really hate this MBA stuff, which is something totally strange to me, being of the unschooled variety of businessmen.
Yes, but you were top 3 in the bar, right?
That doesn't matter, because it doesn't train you to become a good manager, for example.
But you've learned to let go and let Dennis have his way with the company, or when do you come in to interfere? Or I wouldn't even call it interference, to put in your own.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought I would retain some measure of control over him, reserving for myself the right to interfere and to change. But it dawned on me that the best way to train him was to leave him alone, which I did. I refrained from asking him to consult me on every little matter that fortunately it turned out to be a good experiment, because people started telling me that what a wonderful manager Dennis was.
So paano ba kayo napunta sa mining?
Purely by accident. My life has been a series of accidents. Fortunately, to my advantage. No?
So how? How nga?
Puro tsamba.
Merong nag-alok na magsosyo kayo? Paano?
Well,
Yung sa mining?
Sa mining, it's a long story. And it was my patron, my Leonidas Virata, who brought me into mining. This opportunity came to develop a unknown deposit in Palawan, which he turned over to me because he was working in government at that time. This was the main chamba of my life, no? Which is some geologist that Mr. Virata had asked to take a look at some timber stand that they happened to be geologists. They had nothing to do with anything else, no. So he sent these guys to take a look at a timber stand.
So ang unang pakay ay pagputol ng kahoy?
Yeah,
Laging. Okay.
Another non-controversial.
Okay.
So, with the view of cutting down trees, this guy brings back a rock that he mistakenly thought was copper, but which,
Turned out to be more valuable pa.
yeah, it turned out to be less known, unknown talaga, that he subsequently got another geologist to identify as nickel, which at that time was completely unknown. Yeah, here in the Philippines, except for some South American deposits.
Meaning it was one of the first nickel deposit found in the Philippines talaga. We weren't known to be a nickel.
It probably the first, and
First.
it turned out to be a major world class.
Wow, did you feel, what was the feeling? Parang jackpot? Ganun agad?
Hindi. Because at that time, if you even had the semblance of what was about to happen and what would happen, because here, we've always worked under a hostile government.
But look at you, you've managed, as you said, under a hostile government, church, to grow NAC.
Because we've done a lot of good. In fact, the statistics won't lie. It's and our approach has been to invite people who still have not developed their own biases to just visit our mine site. In fact, it's funny, these bishops are so...
Umapakda ba sila doon? Why don't they take up your invitation?
They don't want to even take a look at our mine, no? Because they're probably scared that they'll find out the truth is somewhere not beyond their kin, their knowledge.
So there is such a thing as responsible mining. So there is is such a thing as responsible mining?
If it's not responsible, it's not mining. Why do I say that? Because I have a lot of very passionate mining engineers working with the company. And they said that the attacks on mining are always relating to, the mistakes of mining are always relating to not following what they were taught in college. So if you went to UP School of Mining Engineering, they will teach you the proper way of mining. So protect the environment, optimize the resource, and then put it back to a better state. So that's mining. If you don't do that, I don't know, that's something else, no? So mining is always responsible. If it's not mining.
Ito ang isa sa mga ine-export mula dito sa Rio Tuba. Ito ang saprolite. Ngayon, ang nangyayari dito may manual sorting na nagaganap kasi yung mga malalaking bato tinatanggal at ito ay pinapatuyo bago siya mapadala sa China at Japan. The source of the billion peso earnings of NAC. Okay, so Ronel is showing us around. Siya po yung mine manager dito. At inyong nakikita ay dating mining site na pinagkunan ng saprolite at limonite. Pero ngayon ay after 15 years, makikita ninyo napakagandang gubat na niya na pwedeng pasyalan, no?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, marami kami nagiging bisita rin talaga.
Talaga?
We restore the environment to a better condition than when we left it. So nickel laterite is not suitable for growing trees. So you'll notice in a mine site the trees are very small, and if there are any at all. But we restore it, and then you have a forest after we leave. And then the government requires us to plant 100 trees for every tree that we cut, no? And then we are above the government standards for testing our water, etc. So on a scientific and even on a practical and aesthetic basis, I think we can answer all the concerns. The people who are against it, we are always open to talking about facts, no? And showing that we do not do any harm to the environment.
Next week on Usapang Bilyonaryo, Part 2 of the Metal Tycoons.
Well, Arab's kind of kingmaker, right?
Well, yeah, I was very close to Arab.
So how did you help him win the presidency?
Now beats me, no?
You agree. You said you helped.
I did help.
How?
Well, for instance, I handled these finances. Did I get myself into trouble?
Campaign finance.
Campaign finances, yeah.
And quotable quotes from Bilyonarios in our Season 1 Ender. Abangan!
Watch the full-length producer's cut on Bilyonaryo Digital on YouTube and on Bilyonaryo's Facebook page.